This is not a bundle review. I know most of the time when we are sat on this store page we are going to do one, but not today. Instead, I want to discuss what you should actually be looking out for within bundles for each of the price ranges, because I still see people buying bundles that are just not worth the price they're being asked for, purely because it's a new blueprint, or Treyarch perhaps thinks it's particularly popular, and there's certain aspects within each price range you need to look out for, so let's jump into it. So I'm going to split this into price categories just because it's a little bit easier. So we're going to start off with the lower end, kind of like 800 to 1200 COD points. You will see occasionally something lower than that. I think there's one in the store at the moment that's like 500, yeah, this one. But for the most part, you're looking at those ones that are sitting in that kind of 800 to 1300 maybe bracket. And these are predominantly going to be your blueprints. They're not going to have much else to them. You are very much going to be looking at, you know, a blueprint and a few charms and emblems maybe. So like the ZRG sniper one, it was a hideous blueprint, don't get me wrong, but if you look at it, you literally got the blueprint for the gun. Of course, this was a quick way to unlock the gun, and then you got a charm, an emblem and a sticker. That's very much all you're going to be seeing, even on these upper reaches for the gun. Like this is 1200 and you get 4 items for it, whereas this is, when it loads up, the 500 one, you also get 4 items for it. That new gun level also pushes it up, so that's something to bear in mind. However, if you are kind of like a lower budget, or you are looking to, you know, not spend too much, these are great options to get some, you know, cool looking blueprints, especially if you spot a gun in here that you use a lot. I think it's quite often to overlook these almost when comparing them to some of the bigger, kind of more hyped up blueprints. Because even this is a AUG blueprint, and so obviously I don't actually know when this was released, but if it was released in Season 2, this would have been a really nice way to get, you know, a AUG blueprint that no one else is going to be running, that, you know, you're going to be fairly unique in getting it, and it's 1000 COD points less than a lot of the other AUG bundles that we saw. So at times it is worth just scrolling down, having a browse, seeing what some of the smaller bundles do have to offer. Just because they are in that lower price range does not mean they're not worth it, but at the same time, you will only be getting a few items because of that lower price range. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. And then next up, we're kind of looking towards the lower mid-tier, where a lot of bundles sit, and that's kind of like between 1200 and 1500 for the most part. And a lot of these bundles will sit in the 1500 end as opposed to the 1200. But this one you're expecting to get something a little bit different. For example, here, you know, you've got 1500 COD points, you get a blueprint, an operator skin, and a finishing move, as well as a reticle and emblem. You know, there's levels to it, and you get some of the more interesting blueprints up on this end of the scale. So of course you get a couple here, and a melee blueprint, as well as your standard kind of padding it out with charms and stickers. I would never buy a bundle just for a weapon. I always want to have something extra with it, even if I'm not going to use it, just to kind of justify it in my own head. Maybe that's just me. I just personally would always rather have something extra in there, so I don't feel like I'm getting ripped off, even though I may be, but that's not something we're going to talk about. And so here, yeah, you see more, you know, operator skins, quips, finishing moves coming in, and so you never really want to be buying any bundles in this price range where you're not getting something extra. You know, even 2 blueprints, I'd say, unless they are exceptionally cool and you really, really want them, even that's not worth it. You want a finishing move, a quip, a watch, something like that, just to really pad it out and kind of justify that price hike. So that is something to look out for, because I see a lot of bundles here and there trying to sneakily get away with 1200 to 1500 price tags when they probably don't deserve it. They're definitely on that 1200 scale as opposed to the 1500. But of course, then you do hit that tier that's kind of edging into the higher end of things, that 1500 to maybe just shy of 2000. So here you're going to start to see, you know, the really big bundles come out to play. Like, of course, you have the tracer packs coming out to play, and this was a particularly cheap one as far as tracer packs go, purely because it literally just came with the guns. There really wasn't a lot of padding. They added in a watch, a charm and a sticker. But like, this is a sort of thing where you're going to see the big boys come out to play, and it's the sort of time where I guess you already know if you want to get this bundle. This isn't the sort of thing you buy off a whim. You've seen this hyped up, you've seen, you know, reviews on it. it's a meta gun with a really cool tracer or reactive, this is the sort of time you're going to be finding these. I say that they're at the higher end, and they are, you know, that's 1600 there, the other one was like, what, 1800? They're at the higher end, but they're still relatively affordable for some of those cooler ones, but definitely do make sure you are getting a little bit extra. So here, what, you get a M4 and a handgun. That is the M4, isn't it? That's not the M4, it's the SCAR. You get the SCAR. Is that the SCAR? Am I tripping? I'm not sure that's worth 1600, although it is one of the lowest reactive bundles, sorry, tracer pack bundles, and you get an emblem and calling card. I think I'd want to see something extra, but it's 2 tracer pack bundle blueprints, so you can't really complain there. It's just a shame that it's on the SCAR. I didn't even know that. It's the sort of thing where every time you go a price hike, regardless of how cool the main items are, you want it to supplement with more and more items to justify it. You don't want to be buying a pack for 4 items like you are here. And then of course you start to move up. And then of course you kind of hit the higher end, that 2000 to 2400 range. You're going to get a lot of the operator bundles, the reactive camos, the reactive and tracers. This is where the top tier bundles are. It's where the ones that get the most attention are, because they are the coolest, because they cost the most. That is how it works. That's how it should work. You know, like 2400 for the Mastercraft bundles, that's pretty standard. You know, the Hippity Hoppity and the Revis operator bundle, chances are if it's a new operator, it's going to cost you a fair few to get your hands on it. And in this, you want to make sure you are getting all of these things. You don't want to be copping an operator bundle and getting a skin, maybe a couple of blueprints and a finishing move. You want to make sure you're getting 3 blueprints or some exceptional blueprints for, you know, a couple of weapons. You want to be getting a watch. You want the whole lot. You want to make sure you're getting your value for money, because it's a lot of money to be paying for a skin. It is, and that is the majority of why people buy it. They buy it for the skin. I think we all know this, but I'm a big believer of getting your money's worth. You want to make sure that you are getting what you pay for, even if you equip this. I know what finishing move that is, I've just seen. Even if you equip the finishing move for a couple of games and decide you want to go back to a shorter one so you can finish enemies a bit sooner, at least you have used it. Because the thing is, it's not worth it paying 2400 for an operator skin, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion though as well. I know some people will, but I'm a firm believer of making people get their money's worth, and I hope that I've converted a few of you that maybe just cop a operator bundle for the skin. Mastercraft bundles are a bit different, because obviously they are extremely unique, as was this one, because it came with so much. This is an ideal example of what one of these bundles should come with. They gave you everything in this. You know, you got the Mastercraft, you got the tracers, you got the dismemberment, you got specific zombie effects as well. This is exactly what a 2400, a top tier bundle, should be looking like. So yeah, I'd be comparing everything to this, and they're not all going to live up to it, but you have to kind of weigh up that risk of whether or not it's worth it, whether or not, you know, it's justifiable, I guess, because I think with how much money Activision make, we could all do a little bit better to just take a step back and decide if it's actually worth it, and maybe we'll one day force them to keep upping the game with their bundles, and we'll get cooler and cooler shit. You'll never know. As always, do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to find your way back. Hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.